This November, you'll be asked to vote on question 1, which in a nutshell wants to provide in-home care to all Mainers over the age of 65, regardless of income. Hello, everyone. I'm Lindsay Mills.
And I'm Lee Goldberg. So this would also provide assistance to those with disabilities. Sam York's here now. She's been speaking with people on both sides of this referendum. Now you're back. This is an issue that's kind of tough to figure out what's going on here.
Yeah, so those who are for the question say, bottom line, this is about taking care of Maine's most vulnerable populations. But those against it say this will hurt Mainers more than it will help them. It's a complicated issue. So we're going to break down and simplify some of the major questions surrounding question 1. Question 1. Well, what is it? It would create a universal home care program, which would provide home-based assistance to people with disabilities and senior citizens, regardless of income. How would this happen? With a new 3.8% tax on individuals and families with an annual income of $128,400 or higher.
Yes on One campaign manager.
Okay. This is Ben Chin.
The core of what question 1 is about is making sure that seniors and people with disabilities have that ability to be with the people that they love.
He says this is the best option for Mainers.
Maine is the oldest state in the nation, and unless we act now, thousands of seniors are going to be forced out of their homes, into nursing homes, away from their communities, and away from their families.
But people like Newell Auger, an opponent and member of No on One, disagree.
No other state in the country has come up with a proposal like this.
He and others are not buying the promises question 1 is making Mainers.
It's going to be 60,000 Maine families and almost as many small businesses that are the backbone of our economy that are going to get hit with this tax.
Auger says the wording of the question alone should make people skeptical.
Democratic Secretary of State Matt Dunlap has adjusted the question to make sure that people know when they go to the polls in November that it's a tax on families.
But Chin says the referendum's wording is simple and that they even had the nonpartisan Office of Fiscal and Program Review look everything over.
It very clearly says individuals who make over $128,400 are the only people affected by that tax.
When asked if special interest groups are the best way to make policy for Mainers, opponents say the answer is no.
It's bad for our economy, it's bad for Maine seniors, it's bad for independent home care workers, and it's just plain bad government.
Supporters, however, don't agree and say it's time for the Maine people to decide.
But unfortunately, because of the gridlock in Augusta and all the partisanship that you see from Washington, D.C., all the way to Maine, the legislature hasn't acted, and that's why it's time for the people to take action.
So there's a lot more to touch on with question 1, and I'll be diving into it over the next few weeks for you guys. If you missed our discussion with the people from both Yes on One and No on One, we have the full interview on our website with much more information.
There's so much to dive into on this topic, all the way down to the wording of the question, which, as we know from elections past, sometimes that's a problem too. So there's a lot to get to. So we got till November 6th, so take your time.
Thank you.
But make
Scratch
sure,
the surface,
there you
keep
go.
going with it.
Okay. All right, Sam,
Thanks,
thank you
guys.
very much. So today, nice,
I know.
Mr. Carson, finally, right? Like we can like him today.
I lowered your standards over the past 2 days, right? This is what I do, like in general, and so it was so rainy yesterday that today felt really good. We got up to 66 in Portland, officially 61 in Waterville, much cooler though in the mountains, in the 50s. Right now we're sitting in the 60s along the coast, 50s still in the mountains, and a lot of that had to do with breaks in the cloud cover. And we did cloud back up. As a percentage, it was 80% of the state still cloudy, but a nice break of sunshine in the middle part of the state down into Portland, into the mid-coast a bit before clouds rolled back in, and that was just enough to warm us up a little bit. Radar clean. We had the last of the rain from yesterday moving offshore, quite a bit of rain over the past 2 days. Hour forecast, mostly cloudy overnight tonight and tomorrow. It seems like we start partly cloudy to mostly cloudy, and then a front approaches. We get a little bit of sun in the middle of the day in a lot of spots, and temperatures warm up there into the 60s and even some low 70s. And then this front doesn't have a lot of moisture to work with, but it will move through the mountains through the afternoon, and then eventually late afternoon, early evening towards the coastline with the isolated sprinkle, and then we clear out. Friday is a totally sunny day, but you'll notice we start in the 30s and 40s, highs only in the 50s. Guys, we'll talk about the weekend. Still looks solid all the way around.
All right, Mr. Carson, thank you very much, sir. So the days of parking for free in city lots will soon be in the rear view mirror for one Maine city. One viewer who wrote to us says locals are pretty much outraged about some parking changes going on in the town of Biddeford.
Starting November 1st, paid parking permits will be required for all users of city lots. From what I was able to gauge, it's an effort to control the congested parking situation, and the feelings about that are mixed.
It's challenging depending on the day.
Pretty challenging to find a spot to get here in the morning.
It's been very challenging.
People are puzzled over parking in Biddeford. Some say it's a good sign there's nowhere to park because it shows the downtown is developing. People like Steve Rennie, who does the maintenance work for the Liberty Block.
It's all positive. We just got to go with the flow.
But on the other hand, he's heard concerns. So he's taking matters into his own hands.
I'm putting up no parking signs because so many people park in our parking lot now that there's like no parking anywhere, and our tenants are getting upset about their spots being taken when they come home.
The Biddeford City Council held 3 public meetings about the matter in April. As the result of public feedback and staff recommendations, they drafted a 3-phase parking management program. The first phase makes parking along the Main Street corridor short-term parking with 30-minute and 2-hour spaces. Phase 2 will make 8 public surface lots that were once free pay-per-use lots. For some who don't live in Biddeford but work there, that's the phase they take issue with.
It's going to change some of my incentive to come down here, frankly, because I belong to a co-working space that is both here and in Portland. And the reason that I come down to this one is because parking is so challenging in Portland.
The last phase still pends approval. If given the green light, a $10 million parking garage will go up on Lincoln Street.
I literally just drove around the block a couple times to find a parking spot.
So how bad is the parking problem? Let's take a look at city data for the Mill District. There's a deficit of 842 spaces. It's expected to increase to more than 1,400 spaces by the time the mill space is fully occupied. And once the site at 3 Lincoln Street is developed, the deficit is predicted to soar 180% more.
Everybody wants Biddeford to grow, and that means some investment by taxpayers as well.
We have to try something to kind of lower the traffic level or at least make it more accessible. So I definitely think it's worth a try.
According to the city, that November 1st rollout date is tentative. Starting tomorrow, forms to apply for parking permits for those lots will become available online and at the city clerk's office. You can also download the free app. There's a free app, Way to Park, which will work as well.
All right, some confusion today about a pop-up course that the University of Southern Maine is offering where for a time, it at least looked like students would be getting 1 credit if they jumped on a bus, went to Washington, D.C., and protested the nomination of Brett Kavanaugh as Supreme Court Justice. According to an email sent to Southern Maine, students in some departments at USM, but not all, were being given the chance to earn 1 credit for the pop-up course, Engaged Citizenship, which involved a trip to D.C. to take part in the protest. We reached out to the University of Southern Maine for a comment, and we were sent this. This pop-up course was hastily arranged in the past 24 hours without the knowledge of the president or provost. It was not appropriately reviewed nor went through proper channels. As soon as the president and provost were apprised of the course, they immediately pulled the 1 credit offering. They have also made sure that no USM monies were being used for the trip. No students have enrolled in the course. The statement continued, university policy makes it absolutely clear that our public taxpayer-funded institutions must be nonpartisan in terms of political activity and institutionally impartial in all political, religious, and social matters that are unrelated to our university's core mission of education, research, and public service. And we will continue to update this story as we learn more on air and at our website. All right, have you ever wondered this? What's the most distinctive cause of death in Maine? Pretty grim thought. Wow. Keith Carson, of course, will let us know in Brain Drops. I actually haven't thought about that. I have thought about this. Katie Ortiz, she'll be recapping today's presidential alert test. Let you know how it went. Digital Diva coming up. How's everybody doing? Why aren't we waiting for her?
Yes.
Is there somebody in the lobby?
Can you hear me?
Oh, sorry. I thought you were trying to get our attention. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Hi, guys. I'm not actually sure. No one's down there to look, so. on his way.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Just helping a homie out one final time.
Digital Diva, there's people talking about you on the Facebook feed.
Already?
J Bar is going to miss you terribly.
Is
And
secret out already?
Mary Jean Spencer wants to know where you're going.
New York City.
Jay said not sure, but I think it's New York City. Anywhere would be lucky to have her. Hashtag KO in the hizzo.
I forgot about KO in the hizzo.
So there's that.
I may or may not need someone's thing because I forgot to say.
Oh, they're saying they can't see anything right now
Do you want mine?
for some reason. Oh, okay. Oh, now you're good. Now you guys should actually see.
Karen did not get the alert.
The digital Diva.
What?
There's some that didn't. I don't know.
Really?
I will say, I'm sure most carriers participated, but it needs to be participating. Can I have off air or whatever that would have programming?
I know, I don't hear it either.
I hear nothing too. So there we go.
Thank you.
J Bar says hi to Liam.
Katie, do you want this for a script?
The what? It's Amanda Hill. I don't know what that other one is. Amanda Hill is first, Burger King is second, and then the Houston Zoo one is the third. Oh. Unfeature it. Thanks.
After dead people.
Sorry,
Take
what's
her
happening?
at the end of the show. Do you want this?
Okay.
When I get over there, because I'm going to go there during the summer.
Will you slide this for Katie? What do you want it fired up to?
Also hear the program.
Where would you like it to be?
Matt, is it going straight to her, or are you doing like a thing?
I'm just a pre-shot
Okay.
of all of them.
Yeah, I
She's
don't
coming
know.
out of 8.
I don't know how I can do this.
Okay.
Hey, Matt, can I hear
And hey, Isaac, if we're gonna say
They need
goodbye
off-air.
to Katie, will we have time to do it after Keith's brain drops?
Just switch early to PCR and hope that nothing goes out.
That's what I was thinking too, especially if it's a dead thing.
So I can't hear the program.
Yeah. Well, what's the dead thing?
Well, remember his brain drops is the leading cause of death.
Okay, how many of you made a mental note or wrote down a small reminder of that presidential alert test today so it wouldn't, take you by surprise? Only to forget about it and still get a little shaken up, a little spooked. Story of my life there. The highly anticipated test of the presidential alert from FEMA was sent out to the majority of all cell phones in the country today at 2:18 p.m. Eastern. It was originally planned for last month, but FEMA was so busy with Hurricane Florence they needed to delay it. The goal of the alert system is to warn us of national emergencies, and from what we saw, it was pretty similar to Amber Alerts or warnings from the National Weather Service.
Yeah, it's a good concept. It kind of reminds me when I was a kid growing up in the Cold War. They didn't have the technology, but the concept was there. And then recently living in Florida and with this last hurricane off the Carolinas, it definitely has a role and a place.
You can hear all the phones going off on there. Now, be that as it may, Miss Amanda Hill here almost had a conniption when she got the alert. 4 cell phones, an iWatch, and Bluetooth audio, all screaming at Devin and me in our news car. That was an experience. That actually sounds like hell. The alerts were not immune to the meme treatment, though. Burger King asking, did everyone get our message? That said, what's good? And then, of course, the Houston Zoo having some fun. This is a test of the cute baby elephant alert system. No action is needed. That's the kind of alert I want on my phone.
Aww.
And a small addition to, I will say a lot of people have been saying a lot of things about President Trump having an ego and sending out a presidential alert. I mean, he's a confident guy, don't get me wrong, but actually President Obama enacted this, I believe it was in 2008, to have presidential alerts to put out there in case of a national emergency or something like that. So this has nothing to do with the Trump administration or anything like that, just so people are aware.
All right, so we have a senior member of the Now Team alert. You're leaving us.
I know. We're so
Digital
sad.
Diva is going away.
You guys, you have to see pictures of the cake that Liam got for her.
That was the best cake I think I'll ever have in my life. Yeah, today's my last day. I'm actually booking it out of here right after the show.
The car is actually
City,
running.
baby.
The car is legit running right now in the parking lot.
Actually, yes. Bicycle hitched. It's all packed and everything ready to go. So thank you for 2 amazing years here at News Center, and you guys at home. more than half the fun. I love talking to you guys online and everything like that. So be sure to follow all of the adventures and stuff like that on social media. Katie Ortiz TV, I'm still there. But yeah, this is a really, really tough day. So
It's gonna be better for my diet without all those French fries.
I know. It's a French fry cake, by the way.
My little snack buddy. So.
Katie, still keep us up to date with what's happening. I'm gonna be so lost without you in terms of digital things.
We'll get you a GPS. Should be all right.
All right, and we're gonna get you a weather forecast when we come back. The shot of me sitting there smiling.
All right. Come on in.
All right, everybody. You're about to see some quick changes
happening
happening behind the scenes.
Okay, so Isaac, what's our plan?
I can give her my mic.
Hi, Dr. Feiner. I'm Lindsay. Nice
Dr.
to meet
Feiner's
you.
here.
Thank you for being with us. Thank you. Do we need a microphone for you, right?
Where is her microphone?
Katie.
Okay. Yep.
Oh, Katie's got it. Okay.
Place somewhere on your collar that would be.
Okay, great.
Table.
And just she and I. I don't think.
I'm gonna sit this one out because I was not following the news of the day today.
And does it matter who's on what side? Okay.
I'm gonna just give her this.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, just so you guys know, they had a video conference.
Dr. Feiner, you're gonna stand on here.
You can
Perfect.
explain it better, but she and a number of professors had a video conference with Senator Collins today to speak about why they think she should not support Judge Kavanaugh. Is that correct?
We asked her.
Will her mic be scratchy if it's on the inside?
We'll just flip it.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so we'll obviously we'll definitely talk about that.
Good deal.
Can you turn it on?
I'm going to let you do that because it's in the back of your hand.
Okay.
You can just take it out. I will. Okay. There you go.
Nothing's hiding back there.
Here's microphone 8.
Nothing up my sleeve.
Just trying to be respectful. That's all.
Hey Isaac, do you want
All right, so is all of that
Keith and I to
the proper
stand
way
at the
address
tape?
Yeah.
Is there more?
Hey Isaac.
Retired.
Do you want me and Keith to like stand next to the chroma key so that we're not like awkwardly at the desk?
So, are you the organizer of this trip?
I am the organizer.
Hey Jeff.
Going to be.
Can you ask the control room if Keith and I can stand at the tape?
Sure. We are hopping
Yes.
the bus being organized by.
Do you want a shoot shot on 9 for the cost of weather? He could be at the desk for the cost of weather.
Can we, Jeff? Can you ask him if we can stand at the tape?
We started messaging people.
Can you ask him if we can stand at the tape shot?
What do you need, Bill? Nobody to call us back. And then I reached out to your colleague. Yeah. Because someone messaged me. I see what you're saying. I can do that.
The tape shot? Yeah? Okay, cool. Thank you. Hey Keith. You and I are gonna stand at our tape shot. Okay.
What's Lee coming out on? Out on me, Lee.
All right, guys, earlier in the show we talked about a little controversy, if you will, over at the University of Southern Maine with a pop-up course that has been offered, and is there going to be a credit for it? Is there not for a trip to go down to Washington, D.C. and protest the nomination of Brett Kavanaugh as a new Supreme Court Justice? So we're kind enough to be joined by Susan Feiner, Professor of Women and Gender Studies, retired professor over at USM. And let's just start kind of at the beginning. Was there a credit offered for kids to get on a bus and go to D.C.?
Yes, that credit was being offered for participating in an absolutely historical moment in the United States history for women to get a full and just hearing around allegations of sexual violence.
So we ran earlier on our show a statement from the president and from the university really distancing themselves from this by saying they didn't know about this. As soon as they found out about it, they made sure that there was no credit attached to this class. Does that seem to go with your recollection of how this all went down?
That's not 100% correct. The social justice pop-up program at USM has been fully endorsed by the university. They've been more than happy to take the over $500,000 to fund the social justice program. We have a minor now, the only social justice minor in the state, and this course it's called a pop-up on purpose. history unfolds rapidly. And so when an event like this happens, we marshaled all our resources to be able to give students this wonderful learning opportunity, to be engaged citizens when their very own senator is right at the center, at the epicenter of this historic moment.
And we'll talk about Senator Collins in a second, but just so I'm clear on this, the plan was to offer a credit to students that wanted to take part in this pop-up course to go to Washington, D.C. to protest against Senator
we were not asking them to protest.
Okay.
We were asking them to come on the bus and witness history being made. If they chose to protest, that would be entirely up to them. We were offering an opportunity to speak with their very own senator. And this was an opportunity for students to be engaged citizens. And that has been what the message is that you can be an engaged citizen except when you're standing up for women's rights.
So when did you find out that that credit was taken away from this pop-up course?
Immediately after my very interesting conversation and very thoughtful conversation with the senator herself. I was joined by 4 other women who are professors here in the state of Maine. All of us are survivors. It's called the Me Too moment on purpose, Me Too. And we wanted to speak with the senator. She heard us very thoughtfully, and she said, I believe you. And the University of Southern Maine is saying, we don't believe you so much.
So you spoke with Senator Collins today?
Today.
Earlier today. And you got your message as far as you are concerned through to her?
She heard me very respectfully. She was very interested in what we had to say, and she was especially interested in how we were drawing the connections between the allegations of sexual assault and the kind of messaging that is to women in America and men in America about the value of women's experiences.
Is this bus trip going to happen still?
This bus trip, yes, is happening tonight at 9 o'clock. We're leaving from the Marginal Way parking lot. There's still room on the bus, folks, so if you want to go to D.C., you can join us.
All right, Dr. Susan Feiner, I appreciate the time and sharing some insights with us. All right, I think we're going to go see my friend with the weather.
Yes, both of your friends. We're looking straight ahead.
All right.
For those who are maybe packing up, hitting the road, driving down to D.C. for the end of this week, any weather concerns?
No, and actually the end of the week into the weekend looks fantastic. So we're ending on the right note after a rough start, right? We finally poked some holes in the cloud cover this middle of the day through early afternoon. And it was pretty nice across the central part of the state and into southern Maine as well. A lot better than we saw on Monday and Tuesday. And the rain is now cleared as well. You can see it sitting off to our east. We'll stay dry at least until late tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow night with a weak little cold front coming through. Current temperatures in the 60s over southern Maine, 50s elsewhere. Water temperature sitting around 59 to 60 degrees right now. But it's going to be a relatively comfortable evening for most of us, dropping down into the 40s here later tonight. But not much more than that. It's not going to be a total drop off tonight. And then by tomorrow morning, we're partly cloudy to mostly cloudy with just this ribbon of cloud cover out there. Decent middle of the day, temperatures rise into the 60s, and then here comes this front, and it's kind of a mess of a front. It doesn't have that much moisture, doesn't have that much organization, so just a couple of scattered showers with that. Into the mountains around 1 or 2, and then late afternoon, early evening along the coastline, a scattered shower will move in. And then after that, we're off to the races. Friday looks fantastic. Visually, a beautiful day, but it will be cool, only in the 50s for highs. Rainfall amounts for that front, as you can see, very minimal, with the weighted amounts into the mountains and lesser amounts as you get towards the coastline. As we head into Saturday, another beautiful day, temperatures in the 60s there. I like Saturday a bit more, but Sunday has more upside. It will be potentially warmer in the low 70s in spots, but there will be more clouds around through Sunday afternoon. Still watching a warm up as we head into next week. It won't start though on Columbus Day. It looks more like Tuesday, Wednesday that we have a chance to get into the warm sector, and will be mild as a result. Before that, coolish on Saturday morning, no surprise there, into the 30s. So the weekend looks beautiful to me. This is, kind of classic for Columbus Day weekend, where it's not a holiday that gets quite as much attention, but it's still going to be a nice long weekend for those who have it. And we should warm up on Tuesday and Wednesday, upper 70s. Probably a few of us will touch 80. We'll have to determine where that is because it'll be a split state forecast. Northern Maine not quite as toasty.
I'm on vacation next week.
Are you off?
Yes, you're hooking me up.
Do you have to read the words again, or do we have
no,
professional?
No, we've got trained professionals coming for that. Yeah, so.
Yeah, I think Clay's going to be joining us.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, that'll be fun. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
Anyway, parking this one and moving on. A lot more coming up on News Center Maine at 5:30. Cindy Williams has a preview. Hey, Cindy.
Hi, guys. We have much more on the search for Kristen Westra. This is just a bizarre story. A beloved wife, mother, teacher disappeared in the middle of the night. They're taking advantage of this weather for the search. We've got some new details emerging, including an interview with her husband. That's coming up at 5:30. We're also going to see how Sanford High School is getting ready to open its brand new, very expensive building next week. Those stories and more ahead at 5:30. Back to you.
All right, Cindy, thanks so much. Brain drops when we come back. I do want to address one comment from, you got a lot of feedback from the interview with Dr. Feiner. Melissa says the issue with Biddeford parking is we voted twice on paid parking and both times it was voted down. The taxpayers are upset the city leaders are going forth with it against the voters. The parking garage is not wanted by taxpayers. You need to get both sides. I go downtown daily and never have issues parking. So again, you know, I kind of went for 2 hours today. I went down there to sort of gauge the climate for myself after we did get a similar email from somebody saying very similar things. And when I reached out to the city, you know, they gave me that 30-page document that had the data and the research that went into that 3-phase plan. And I talked to dozens of people. And what ends up happening is you'll have people that are like, yeah, I'll talk to you, but I don't want to go on camera. And that's always the struggle. So the people you saw representing what I thought was both sides are the people who are willing to go on camera. And that's behind the scenes. I mean, that's just a challenge we deal with on a daily basis. So many people will give a quote to the paper, but for us, yeah, we can have a quote for our website, but I have to get people that'll talk on camera.
You get that a lot of times when you ask somebody if they were willing to do an interview with you and they say, sure. And they think you're going to do it right there on the phone or, you know, through email. And then it's, okay, well, what time can I show up? I said, wait a second, this is on TV, like with a camera, I don't want to do it. So it is a different animal that I don't know if people, sometimes they totally get it. They go, oh, sure, Channel 6, you know, News Center Maine, you're going to be TV. A lot of people don't make that connection instantly, and then they think, well, interview over the phone, sure, but no, with TV in your face, that's different.
Yeah, but if there is something you think needs to be addressed or followed up on, send us an email and we'll make it happen. All right, we had some people who loved all that behind the scenes action of getting in the interview last minute. The drops.
This one a little morbid, but.
Have you been to the Beauport in Gloucester?
I have not.
No. Oh, Danielle Waugh stayed there for storm coverage one time. Oh. So I thought you did, but no, it was Danielle.
My family lived in Magnolia out there.
Yeah.
So that's the only time I really ever been
there. I love like Beverly Farms, that whole area.
It's pretty sprawling, it is. I was bummed when they continued their real estate journey after that one.
Yeah.
Okay, so this sounds morbid, but I mean it is. But it's interesting. It's a map on most distinctive causes of death, and what they mean by that is compared to the average percentage of people who die from X, Y, Z, in this state, this is exceptionally high. So in Maine, we're K, influenza. So a couple of factors there. One, northern climate. Two, older population.
Second oldest in the country.
Susceptible to that. And so just another reason to get your flu shot, because apparently that's the way we die here in Maine. A couple other ones that stood out to me, Tennessee and Alabama, involuntary accidental discharge of firearms. So where there's a high per capita of guns there. Tuberculosis in Texas. You know, back in the old days, people used to go into the mountains to feel better from tuberculosis. And here's something where in the deep south, people tend to die from it more. And then you have quite a few here. M's, right? Any guesses what that is without looking at it?
Sorry.
It's coal mining stuff. So it's different versions of
Chemical
lung
effects.
problems from coal. So you see that from Pennsylvania down into West Virginia. And then as you get farther north here, you've got more influenzas and you've got more acute respiratory illnesses because you're just cooped up with people catching stuff more of the year, and that's why you're seeing those in those spots. So I think it's interesting. Some don't have any clear reason. For example, Florida is HIV. I don't know the environmental effect for that, but interesting little map. So get your flu shot. It's free in a lot of places.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to digest that.
On that note, say goodbye to Katie Ortiz, everybody. Ortiz,
Katie.
give us a
Goodbye.
wave. New Center Maine at 5:30 starts right now. I love her.